Welcome to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. I'm your host, retired police officer Steve Rutherford. Your co-host for today's show, JoAnn Jackson.
Hey.
JoAnn's surviving spouse of fallen Dallas police officer Brian Jackson. Now, we have two guests on the show today. We have one joining us here in studio. We've got Steve Hayes. Welcome, Steve. And for the first time on the show, we welcome our first remote guest. So hopefully this will not be a train wreck, but we're going to try this. So let's welcome Tamara.
Hey.
Yay.
Yay.
Now, Tamara, where are you at right now?
I am currently in Hawaii.
In
but
Hawaii.
I'm from Australia. Yes,
From Australia.
that's
Wow.
correct. Yes.
But vacationing in Hawaii
Yes.
while the three of us are standing in a room in Texas waiting for it to get hot today.
That is correct. Yes. Someone's got to
Something's
do
not
it.
right.
So I figured must be me.
Wow. Okay. Well, and you just said a moment ago you work for New South Wales, Australia Police Department,
That-
correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And what do you do for New South Wales?
I'm a patrol sergeant. I've got 20 years on the job. I've done a few things in that time. I've worked patrol. I've worked with our counterterrorism intelligence unit, and also our detectives.
Wow. You've done a lot.
I've tried.
Now,
She's pretty cool.
she is really,
That's why she's my friend.
let's use my friend.
She's my friend first.
Okay. We'll work this out later. So with all this vast experience you've got and all these cool titles, who's holding down Australia while you're vacationing in Hawaii?
Well, the department I work for, we have over 17,000 sworn staff. We police an area bigger than the size of Texas and Virginia put together. And there's about 8 million people in that area that we look after. So there's about 16,999 others looking after things while I'm away.
Wow.
That's a lot. I had no idea there were that many officers there. But it is a huge place, so.
Wow. So do you have multiple departments there, or is it just like you guys take care of the entire country?
We take care of, we're a state-based organization. Australia itself only has 7 total law enforcement organizations across the entire country. So 6 of those are state-based and 1 federal.
Wow.
Oh. Who knew?
I didn't know that. Wow. Wow. I mean, we've got like 7 organizations here within a 5-mile radius.
That's for sure.
That's it.
Well, and so you've been there, you said, over 20 years.
Yes.
JoAnn and I both know you because we met you at Police Week in Washington, D.C. several years ago.
Long time ago.
And it's been a long time since we've seen you. Like, what was it, a week ago?
Week and a half. Yeah.
When she bailed on us.
Yeah.
I tried to get her to stay, but I understood.
Yeah, no,
Our time is so limited with her.
JoAnn, she did not bail on us. We were in Washington, D.C. We flew home to Texas. She flew to Hawaii.
I'm going next year.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going next
keep
year.
telling you every year.
I will. Hopefully I'll be like in better condition that I'll be able to actually do some stuff while I'm there.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I'm open to Hawaii at any point in time.
Oh, that's right. You're retired. What about Karen? Can't leave Karen. You got to bring Karen.
She can come if she wants to.
She gotta
Now, Steve, you're a current officer. What agency do you work for?
Elm Ridge Police Department.
And what do you currently do for Elm Ridge?
I'm a part-time detective now. I retired from full-time work.
Outstanding. So how many years do you have on the job, sir?
A total of 42.
42 years.
Ooh, you're old.
Outstanding. What? Did you just call him? Do not attack the guest. Wow.
I'm old.
That's a standard reply when someone says they've been on the job for 42 years.
Not old, experienced.
Experienced, absolutely experienced. He's a pretty awesome dude. I just met him downstairs earlier.
Yeah.
Got a very interesting work history.
Seasoned veteran.
Yeah, seasoned veteran.
And I like his name too, personally. I can't think of a better name to have than Steve. But that being said, Steve, what in those 42 years, what all have you done in law enforcement?
Well, I've done jailer, patrol, CID, hiring and training, dispatch, and the property room.
Detective.
Yeah, detective in criminal investigations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was separate or the same.
Oh, no, same thing.
Okay.
All right, so you've had a piece of just about every part of the profession.
And motors. I forgot about that.
Oh no, we've got another motor up in here. Oh, I would like to remind everyone, if you have not already heard it, if you go to episode 1, listen in, you'll hear Josh Jackson, who was also formerly a motor officer before Josh retired / quit, right?
Right. Quitter.
We established that he quit and that I'm a quitter too.
Quitter.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy quitter, as Josh would say. So when you were on motors, where was that? What agency were you working for at that time?
I was with Capel then from 93 to 95 when I got hurt, and I had to get off motors.
Okay, so a couple things come to mind here. Mr. Jackson, former motor officer, told us that he couldn't find any partners because of how he rode his bike, and he liked to throw it down all the time. Is that a Capel thing? Are there more Capel motor officers that just fly up on the scene and just throw their bike on the ground?
No, it's a Josh thing.
Josh thing.
Strictly Josh.
Okay, we definitely need a clarification on that. I didn't know if that was Capel motor training or what, but Josh did mention that he would throw his bike on the ground just about everywhere he went.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I have a story of it.
Oh, well, don't hold back. Let's hear this.
We were chasing FLG again, the felony lane gang, and we were just got into Grapevine, and we saw them at the Chick-fil-A. I was going around one way of the building. They were coming around the other way, and Josh was coming up behind me, and I didn't know it. Next thing I know, I'm got my gun out. I'm about to go on with them, and I hear from the back, "Get down, MFers." And I'm like, who was that?
I can't imagine Josh saying that.
Oh, I was shocked when I turned around, and it was Josh. But the funny part was there was a curb, and it was really high. He was standing on it, and he's already a giraffe. Then he has the flip-up helmet, and I turned around, and he looked like he was like 18 feet tall. And he screamed. The little girl that was running from us just fell and melted. And so, and yes, his motorcycle was on the ground.
So let me ask you this, because going back to episode 1 and Josh talking about that, because Josh doesn't use foul language. Very rarely.
No.
He mentioned that story, and he said that one of his coworkers was shocked that he used that language, and that coworker now had that audio clip set as a ringtone on their phone. Was that you?
No, I wished I had, though.
Oh, well, we might have to get that and share that with folks.
I have to hear that.
Wow. So, yeah, that's kind of neat how we just closed the loop on that one, because he was a witness to Josh doing that.
Well, now we just need the audio.
So what all agencies have you worked for?
Dallas County for 6 years, Roy City PD for 4, and Capel for 30. Now 2 years, a little bit, around 2 years for Elm Ridge PD.
Okay. Any stories you can think of some of those other agencies out there? 42 years. I know you've got some stories.
Well, yeah. So in Roy City, this was back in 1990. I get a call that there's somebody flopping around on the service road of I-30. It's 110 degrees. I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to be flopping around on the service road.
It's hot.
So I get there. The guy's laying on his back. He's kicking his feet. He's moving his arms like he's doing the backstroke. I get out of the car. I walked up, and your shoes are sticking to the asphalt. I was like, "Excuse me, what are we doing?" He said, "I'm swimming to Missouri." I said, "Okay, stand up, bud."
Wow.
So
Wow.
we get him. I talked to him for a couple of minutes and realized it's time to go to Terrell. So we had to go to Terrell State Hospital for our emergency detentions.
Wow.
So, but he was quite the character. But swimming to Missouri,
Swimming to Missouri. That's a long swim
especially on 110-degree asphalt.
with no water.
Well, yeah.
I know what. Did he at least have a shirt on? I hope.
Well, he had shirt and blue jeans, but
He was
it was a
probably
mess.
stuck.
It was a mess.
Oof. That's not cool.
Wow. Yeah, swimming. That's a long ways to swim
With no water.
with no water. Yes, I've never tried to swim with no water before. All right, Tamara, you've been with New South Wales for 20 years. You work at any other agency?
No, just the one.
No.
I'm
what
loyal.
made you be? What made you become an officer in Australia? What made you say, "Hey, I want to be an officer"?
Originally, my reason for joining was it was going to be a bit of a backdoor way to get a law degree paid for by the state, because we have a prosecutor program. So you do 3 years in patrol, and then you can specialize and become a police prosecutor. And so that's the path I was going to take. And then I realized it's much more fun out there running and gunning than sitting in a courtroom all day prosecuting people. So I stayed out on the street.
So help clarify this for me. Are all lawyers or all attorneys in Australia, do they have police experience?
No. So where you guys have district attorneys that sort of prosecute your matters, we have, in our local court, those matters are run by police officers. When you get to sort of district and Supreme Court, we have a separate organisation, which is the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, that are actual lawyers and not necessarily police officers
Okay.
that run our matters.
That's interesting. That is
Yeah.
definitely different. It's definitely different from our process here.
Isn't
Yeah.
Your process to become a detective was a very lengthy one, correct?
Yes, it was further delayed by COVID, unfortunately, but it's usually at least a 2-year process through on-the-job training and some further educational courses to be done. So it usually takes about 2 years, but with COVID, I think it took nearly 3.5 for me to get through that
it was
process.
a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike here, don't quote me because I know nothing about nothing. It's just it's a test, right?
It depends. Agencies have it set up differently. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes you just put in for it. And some agencies have an oral board that you go before, and they look at what your track record's been in patrol, or at least my agency did that, and that's who they end up selecting. They look at your reports and stuff like that.
Cool. I had no idea. I just know that a lot of people sit for a test, and what they score on the test depends whether or not they promote or move to a different division. But like I said, I know nothing about nothing.
All right. Nothing about nothing.
Nothing about nothing.
Okay, now, Tamara,
Yes.
you had mentioned to me before, said, Steve, you should come to Australia and be an officer. And I said, don't y'all
Yes.
have like sharks, venomous snakes, poisonous spiders, and wild dogs named dingoes?
We do.
Okay, that's a reason I'm going to say no.
Ugh.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken, yes.
We
What
also
kind of
have
wildlife
chickens.
what kind of wildlife do you have to deal with? You have a crazy animal call?
It's not too crazy. I mean, I work in Sydney, which is obviously quite a large city. Most of our sort of crazy animals tend to reside outside the city limits. But I do recall going to we call it a persons on premises, but I guess you guys probably call it like a burglary call, or, burglary in progress. At the time, I was only working for a very small sort of precinct, so we only had 2 cars. So both cars attended this job. Obviously, myself and who I was working with covered the front. The other crew went to the back. We searched the house. We can't find anyone, but we can hear noises in the roof. Unfortunately, due to being, I was the most senior one on scene, but I was also the smallest. So I ended up getting boosted up on the rookie's shoulders up through the manhole to try and find our suspect. which I did. It was a very small possum hiding up in the
Aw.
roof. So we let him go. We didn't arrest him. We didn't take him back to jail or anything like that. But when we were walking back to our vehicles, I saw there was quite a large spider web across one side of the street. I'm like, I'm not going to walk down that way. I'm going to cross the road and go the long way back to the vehicle. And then a few seconds later, I hear shrieking and screaming like a 6-year-old girl coming from a 6-foot, 200-pound bloke who was kung fu fighting in the middle of the street because he walked through the cobweb.
Nice. And you didn't do that intentionally to this individual,
No.
right? Oh,
No, I
yeah.
didn't. I mean, he had eyes. I could see it.
And-
Just figured he would have seen it, but he didn't.
Hey,
He got a face full of it, though.
situational awareness. That's on him totally.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
And he's a bloke. Is that what you said?
Yes. 6 foot,
Okay.
200-pound bloke.
That's a
Bloke.
dude.
A bloke is a dude.
Or a guy.
A dude.
A guy.
A guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A male.
man.
Okay, so what is a female bloke? A
A
bloke?
Sheila. Oh, a Sheila.
Yes,
Sheila.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's right. Crocodile Dundee said Sheila. But
I was wondering if that was going to be worked in.
Yeah, I was going to say, but good reference point. Yes.
I'm sorry, I kind of dropped that out there. The only experience I have with Australia is Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2. So
What about Steve
hey,
and Steve Irwin?
Steve
And Steve
Irwin?
Irwin,
Yes,
mhm.
Yeah.
but I do want to know: do you carry a knife, like one of those you pull off your back? Whew, you call that a knife?
Yeah. No.
No, okay.
We carry guns, but no knives.
Carry guns. Okay.
Yes.
There are very many guns in Australia.
Not as
Right.
many as the US.
Okay, and I mean,
Yeah.
and just kind of educating everybody. I mean, there are officers that listen into the show. In Australia, you don't necessarily carry off duty, right?
That's correct. Yes. So we're only authorized to carry while on duty. Otherwise, anywhere else in Australia, in order to possess firearms or to carry firearms, you have to have certain categories of licenses depending on what the firearms are. So we sign our guns out at the beginning of our shift and we put them back at the end of our shift.
That was going to be my question. Do they let you take them home, or do you have to sign them out?
You got to sign them in and out. Yeah.
So who's responsible for maintaining and cleaning your weapon?
The individual officer.
Oh, okay.
So they're, by saying sign out, like they're individually assigned and they're locked up in our gun rooms.
Mhm.
So you go in, you take your firearm out. You've only got access to your firearm. You don't have access to anybody else's.
Yeah, that's definitely different, by all means. So cool. Thanks for the educational lesson on that one.
No
For
problem.
anyone who's curious, do you have like reciprocity? Say you're an officer here in the States and you want to move there and become an officer. Does that help you or hinder you?
She doesn't know. She's never done it.
Well, and she's never done it, but I mean, there must be people from other countries that come and be officers.
We actually do have an officer in my precinct at the moment that came from somewhere in the States, but you still have to start the whole process. You don't get any credit from your previous
Oh,
policing
wow.
experience. So the only time that you would get credit is if you've probably worked within an Australian jurisdiction, because obviously laws and powers and things like that are different in different countries. So that's why you don't get the credit from other countries. But within Australia, they're generally fairly similar.
All right. That makes sense. Well, listen, we're about to go into a break here, but I do want to say, if you have not been to our website, offbeatcopshow.com, again, offbeatcopshow.com, and signed up, you're missing out. So again, go to offbeatcopshow.com. We'll be back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Again, I'm your host, retired police officer Steve Rutherford. Joining me in studio today, co-host JoAnn Jackson,
Hey.
guest Steve Hayes,
Hello.
and joining us remotely, we have Tamara from
G'day.
Australia. And you are not a bloke, you're a Sheila.
That's correct, yes.
All right. You know, from now on, I'm going to call you Sheila.
It gets better than Tamara.
It's easier to say.
Tomorrow. Hey, tomorrow.
Yeah. We're from Texas. Tamara. And she's
Yes.
like, no, it's tomorrow
Tamara.
with an A.
It's Tamara. Tamara.
Newsflash.
Tamara.
It's going to be Sheila from now on. Yes. Yeah. JoAnn,
There
have you
are
talked to
worse things to
Sheila
be called.
lately?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Yes.
All right. Now, Steve, you mentioned earlier in the first segment that you were injured at work.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you mind talking about that?
That was March 31st, 1995, in front of the post office on Denton Tap Drive. And I had a traffic stop. I was walking between my squad and a car that I had stopped. A 17-year-old kid hit me in the back of the squad and pushed them together. And he cut my leg off right there.
Ooh.
Man.
Oh,
It's,
goodness.
it's bad when you look between your knee and your foot and you see concrete. It's usually not good.
No.
Wow. And thank goodness you were able to recover from that injury. You are an amputee,
Yes,
and you were able to remain in your chosen profession.
I was, thankfully.
Outstanding. And you shared with us on break kind of a story in regards to that. Yeah, let us have it.
Well, I was a detective. We were on a death scene. It was an overdose. We were searching the car out in the front yard, and the family was out in the yard. And I walked up to the Suburban, opened the door, I stepped in, and the leg I had at the time had a pin on it, and it had a little release. And I hit the release against the car, and it fell off into the yard. And you could hear a pin drop. Everybody stopped talking. They were all staring at me. I just waved, and I knelt down, put it back on, pulled the pants leg down, and went, okay, I'm back to work. And they were just stunned. So it was funny for me. I mean, I'm an amputee. It's how things can go.
Yeah, and you got to be able to make light of it, and
It
that's,
is.
I mean, and that you talk about making a sacrifice at work for the profession that you do. Much appreciated, sir.
Well, I appreciate it. I was thankful and blessed that I could take care of my family. And they took care of me as far as giving me a job. And that's something I'm always thankful for.
Absolutely. The agency you're working for kept you on and just found
They
other
did.
capacities in which you could work.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Kudos to them. What agency was that?
Capel.
Way to go, Capel Police Department. Good job.
Right on.
So now, having been involved in that accident and having lost your leg in that, you've been able to reach out to other officers seriously injured and offer help to them as well. And I understand you work with the Peace Officers Angels Foundation.
Yes, sir. In 2010, we started that. I say we, I was just part of it. Maria Alvarado is running it. And she was asking if the injured officers had any help. And it's kind of like, not really. So that's what we do. If they're critically injured, we go and they get a check and a little basket that has a blanket and treats and things in it. And we go and visit with them, let them know that they're not standing alone.
Very nice. And that's it. I mean, beyond any kind of compensation or workers' comp or anything like that, it's just, hey, I've been through this. You will get through this also, and just giving them that peer support.
Yes, sir.
Man, kudos to you. And that's the way to do it. Take your experiences and, use them to help other people out there. And yeah, man, that's good stuff, Steve. And again, thank you for helping out the other folks out there.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Wait, Sheila.
Yes.
All right, Sheila. you had the opportunity to encounter one of our fellow Americans, I understand?
I did. This is probably going back maybe about 10 years ago. We had an American, I can't remember where she was from. She was in custody for a similar to like a DUI type offence, which in Australia, all traffic offences are what we call strict liability. So you don't have to prove that they intended to do the crime. So their rights are a little bit different for traffic matters than they are for other criminal matters. And she's sitting in custody and she's making all these demands. You've got to get me a lawyer. You've got to get me this. You've got to get me that. You know, I'm an American. I know my rights. You've got to get me all these things. And I'd been listening to it for probably like a good 10, 15 minutes before I turned around and said, look, sweetie, you're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Your rights are different here. So just sit down, be quiet. We'll deal with you as we need to.
Wow. Yeah. Where you go to another country thinking you know all the legal rights there. So
Yeah.
I'd be scared to death. You take me into custody of another country. I'm like, I don't know. I know nothing. What is it, JoAnn?
What?
I know nothing.
I know nothing about nothing about nothing.
I know nothing about nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just tell me where to sign and what to pay. And please let me go.
She was quite vocal.
We don't claim her.
I'm gonna defer back to you. I don't know nothing about nothing.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
All right. So any animal related kind of stuff? You know, because Americans, we're fascinated with Australia. Again,
Yes.
you've got like great white sharks. You've got poisonous spiders, venomous snakes, wild
Yeah.
dogs. You call it, the wild dog's a dingo, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's, what was that one movie? The dingo ate your baby.
Stole.
Stole the dingo. I thought he ate the baby.
No, stole the baby.
Hey, so Sheila, can you say that line for us real quick?
That dingo stole my baby.
Okay, that sounded authentic. I like that. It's spoken like a true Australian. The ding is okay. I'm gonna try again.
It was actually a true story. It's not a movie. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
thought
in
that was
America,
in a movie.
it's not a movie in America.
It probably was, but it's based out of something that happened.
So our entertainment comes from true stories in Australia,
Yeah.
and it's about a wild dog stealing someone's baby.
Yeah. A child went missing while a family were out on a camping trip, and the mother blamed a dingo.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, were you assigned to this case?
I was not. It was well before my time on the job.
Okay, what did they prove whether or not the dog did it or not?
No, they didn't. I believe she spent quite an amount of time in custody, but she was later released. Yes.
So the dingo did not steal your baby. Got it.
That's going to be my excuse from now on.
Yeah. Yeah. The dingo.
the
did
Dingo
it.
made me late. There was a dingo in the road. I don't know.
I had to avoid the dingo on the road.
That was the problem coming here today. There's a dingo in the road.
Yes.
Okay,
But
so
we do
Sheila,
have
any animal calls?
not so much an animal call, but the closest I've come to a boxing kangaroo is it was actually early last year. I had a male in custody on some domestic violence offences, and he'd obviously had quite an amount of illicit substances before he came into custody. And he just really wanted attention, and I had a number of other people in custody that I was trying to deal with and try and do their bail and get them out as soon as possible. He was like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, you know, pay me attention. So the more I ignored him, he decided that the best way to get attention was just to get naked and then stand in the dock and shadow box like a little kangaroo. It was entertaining.
Yeah, well,
funny.
did it get
Yeah.
your attention?
Not really. It was
Wow. Did that
it was
hurt
it
his
was it was
feelings?
not it was not much to look at, unfortunately.
Oh.
Oh, it was just a little dingo.
It was- Just a Joey.
Just a Joey.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go from there.
No. I mean, we've had a few call outs for spiders from tourists, but we just, move them outside, or there's nothing too scary
Okay.
about them.
What kind of spiders did tourists call you about? I mean, are we talking like a tarantula? Are we talking huge spiders? Is it just a little bitty spider? Hey, police, come get the spider out of my room.
They can vary between sort of your redback size, which are quite small, to maybe the size of your palm.
Which is funny because
We got three
both
different
Steve and
sizes.
JoAnn in studio held their hand out and looked at it.
I'm out of here on that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's a
Generally, the
big-
bigger they are, the more they'll leave you alone. They're just there to eat the bugs and that
and
sort
the
of thing.
small children.
No, you have your. I had a little kitchen spider. I called him Frank. He used to live in my kitchen, and he'd just be up on the wall and he'd eat the mosquitoes and the bugs and the flies and stuff. So he
Wait.
he was helpful.
Wait.
He was
Y'all
helpful.
got
This is a spider you don't keep in an aquarium or terrarium, if you will. He's your kitchen
was wild.
spider that you
Yeah.
you just leave him in the kitchen to
Yeah.
get rid of bug problems for you.
Yeah.
Steve, you have a kitchen spider?
No.
JoAnn?
no.
Yeah. I don't have one either. Any other pets around the house?
No, but you mentioned before, the sharks and the snakes and all that sort of thing. But I did some research, obviously, before I came on the show. So we've had 237 fatal shark attacks in the last 233 years. So I mean, your chances of actually dying, not so bad. You can go in the water; it's safe.
Okay. That is reassuring because yes.
Yeah.
We've all seen the movie Jaws. I think I go in the water, in Australia where you have great whites. I like, oh yeah.
That's what Jaws was.
Yes.
We have great whites there.
Yeah. See, no.
Off the sound, yeah. Yeah.
No,
And actually,
I just-
between 2001 and 2017, according to Google, animal caused deaths in Australia, you're more likely to be killed by a horse or a bee than a shark.
A horse?
Yeah. 172 deaths caused by horses, 27 by sharks.
Wow.
Yeah. Stay away from the farmland.
Apparently. Stay away from horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just kind of want to stay away from death myself,
Yeah.
whether it be a spider or a horse or whatever it might be. No, that's interesting by all means. Steve, can you got anything else in your 42 years you want to share with us?
One of my favorite traffic stops.
Oh,
He's
traffic
doing-
stops are good.
99 and a 65. And I catch up to him. And I'm approaching. He already has his license and insurance out the window. And I get to the window. As soon as I turn, the smell hits me. And I'm like, this is bad. I said, what's the emergency? He goes, there isn't one now, sir. He had diarrhea and filled the seat. And I just handed him his stuff back and said, have a good day. Go.
Yeah,
Because he didn't have to prove it. All the proof was there.
yeah. You smelled the probable cause.
Yeah,
the
to
fact
move
that-
on. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yes,
was a
sir.
mess.
You're free to go, sir. and it's funny. It seems like a lot of funny police stories involve crap, if you will, at some level. Do we have any crappy Australia stories?
We had a frequent flyer back when I was a rookie that used to get around a few different areas that was known for being able to poop on cue and would quite often fling it like a monkey
Gross.
whenever police turned up.
Wow,
Mm.
that's quite a defensive mechanism.
Yes, it's quite quite effective.
I mean, just poop on cue kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sees the police and just boom, there
Yep.
it is.
There it
There
is.
it is.
And it was always a, registered numbers game as to who was going hands on. Most junior.
Oh.
You were always hoping you
lucky.
had the lower number because no one really wanted to get in there.
I don't blame them.
Come on, get in there.
Yeah.
It's your turn. It's your turn
Yep.
today.
Yeah.
I had them last week. It's your turn.
Yeah.
So, what are rookies like in Australia? And do you have like training officers where these guys have to ride out with an experienced officer for a while? How does that work?
Yeah. So our they have a 12-month probation when they first come out. We generally roll 2 out anyway, unless you're a supervisor. And so for their first 6 weeks, they're 3 up. So they're working with two experienced officers. They generally will have a training officer assigned to them for that first 6 to 12 weeks. And then after around about 6 weeks, they get, if they're assessed and they're signed to work 2 out, so it's just them and their TO after that for the next 12 months.
Any good stories? Rookie stories?
Uh,
See, Steve, by the way, snorted down here, so
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's got something building. So you know what? Let's jump over to Steve. Steve,
Yep.
you got one?
Yep.
So we were doing scenarios with a trainee. We went to the local grocery store, and I went through and I got a candy bar and a Coke, and I came back to the register, and I just walked right by it, and the guy's standing there, the rookie, and he's like, I went and got in the car, I motioned. So we get in the car, and we're going to the station because we want to see what his redaction's going to be. So no speaking whatsoever. It was totally quiet. Didn't say a word. We get to the station. I was like, okay, go ahead, go in. Well, it took him 30 minutes to decide, what do I need to do? And so finally went to the sergeant. I don't think he paid for that. And I said, you're right, I didn't. But at least you did the right thing finally. But his face was just, he turned white as a sheet. He was like, oh boy, that's bad.
He was terrified there for a
He
little bit.
was, very much so.
Man, I wish I would have thought about that one.
Oh, it was fun. We enjoyed that.
Yeah, to actually do that. That's a good one. I like that. All right. Let me ask this of our listeners. Do you have a funny story that you would like to share on Offbeat? If you do, you'd like to be a guest on the show and bring a funny story to us, then contact us. Send us a message at offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. That's offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Check us out on social media as well, guys. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. JoAnn, is there anywhere else we're at?
I
think we covered it all.
I think that's all of them. Yeah.
I think we got it all in. Yeah, most of the time we're on Facebook.
Oh,
That's a whole different story.
YouTube? Where are they-
YouTube, yes.
Yeah, YouTube to watch the video.
Yes, if you want to see our smiling faces, check us out on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we're going into break. We'll be back in just a little bit. And welcome back to more Offbeat. I'm your host, retired police officer Steve Rutherford. I'm here with the co-host, JoAnn Jackson. We've got Steve Hayes joining us in studio. And we've got Sheila joining us remotely.
Yeah.
Right, Sheila?
Yes, indeed.
That is so much easier than trying to hit Tamara.
Yep.
Because she explained it to me as, say, well, tomorrow with an A at the end. I'm like, no, it's Tamara. No, it's
Tamara.
Tamara. It's Sheila. I'm going Sheila from now on. You see me next year, Police Week, you're Sheila.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
We'll see if he remembers that.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna look at you and not know what to call you. He's just gonna be like,
It's like there was something else I had to call you. I can't remember what it
Sheila,
was.
bloke, something. Hey, if you're a bloke, Sheila, does that mean you don't have any money?
Do you mean a broke Sheila?
A bloke.
Or a bloke Sheila? A bloke Sheila is a whole different thing.
well,
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm having problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you ever get asked? You ever get asked by officers, like when you're in police week and stuff, about kangaroos and different things like that?
I do.
I mean, I've sat here and asked you the whole time about it. So
Yeah. So one of my first police week in 2006, I was outside Kelly's and I was talking to a group of officers and they were asking me about, what it's like in Australia. Do you have, is there kangaroos and koalas everywhere? And I said to them, I said, well, I work in the city, so generally there aren't a lot of kangaroos around, but when traffic gets really bad during peak hour, we just duck out the back. We grab one of the kangaroos out of the back. We strap the light on their head and we jump in the pouch and we make the siren noise as we, make our way to these jobs. And I'm looking at these officers' faces and they're just soaking in every single word that I'm saying. And I had the story going for about 10 minutes before I said, look, I'm really sorry. I can't keep this up. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever said. So I just made all that up. I'm really sorry.
but those guys are totally buying it, huh?
They were hanging on every single word. And I'm like, I can't believe these guys are really police officers and they're believing every single word that I'm saying.
You just have a fleet of kangaroos out behind the station.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kangaroo are you assigned today?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what?
Yeah.
It would have been great if you'd have told them, we ride two-man. We've got ride with a partner. So
yeah.
usually it's
Get squishy.
It's squishy.
It's
two's a lot for one pouch. I mean,
yeah, it is. It is.
You're like twins, right?
Yeah. I mean, JoAnn and I could probably do it comfortably, but probably the two Steves, it'd be uncomfortable.
No.
you'd be riding solo.
No, get off my side of the pouch, man. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, yeah. I what is that? A kangaroo cop? I like it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, and you brought up koalas. We hadn't even touched on koalas. So
No.
koalas are cute. Kangaroos, they're cute but scary, I think. Me personally.
Yeah.
Got those big nails.
Big
And they're all
nails.
muscly. Yeah, their nails are really
Yeah.
long.
You don't
Are
want
they
to fight
really?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to fight one.
They'll scratch.
It's like
They'll tear you to pieces.
Mhm.
Well, that's good because I'm not planning on fighting a kangaroo.
No.
So,
Yeah.
That's your PSA for the day. Don't fight a kangaroo.
Yes.
Yeah. But you know what? We could go back to episode number 1. Do you poke a kangaroo with a stick?
Ooh, yeah. Do you poke a kangaroo with
Ooh.
a stick?
You could, but it'll probably kick you, and that will probably tear you to pieces.
Okay. Okay.
So that's a no.
Unlike the alligator. Yeah.
Yeah. The alligator, you control it by poking it with a stick.
Yeah.
Crocodile.
You know what? I'm not gonna poke an alligator or a kangaroo with a stick.
Or a bear.
Or a bear. Yes.
Yeah, no bears either.
And I'm dang sure not poking anything with a stick in New Orleans. We already talked about that too. All right, Steve, you shared a story about your sidearm.
Yeah. We had to drive 7 miles to the jail from Roy City to Rockwall. I was finished an arrest and got a hot call for family violence. I ran out, got in the car in the Sally Port. I was about halfway there and I was checking equipment, reached down and realized my holster was empty. So I went ahead to the house because I knew I had to go there. They always had the fight. I got there, stepped out, slung my shoulder over my shotgun over my shoulder and went to the front door and knocked. The guy opened the door. He goes, "You don't have to be so mean now that you bring a shotgun." It's like, it is what it is. Here, put the cuffs on. Took him back. So it happens.
It does. It does. And I've heard a few stories like that. But yeah, way to improvise there. You can't go back and get your pistol.
No,
What are you going to do?
I was over halfway there. I couldn't go back.
Yeah, just come rolling out of the car. Now, I hope you rolled up in style, like we've already established in previous episodes as well. Where
Threw the keys on the ground.
yeah, no, you roll up, tires squealing, come flying in sideways.
Leave the door open.
Come flying in sideways. You got the lights rolling like this, and you just go smash into a wall. Then jump out with a shotgun in your hands. You're under arrest. No.
MFR.
Not quite like that. No.
Okay. Okay. A little
So-
too much.
If we have any non-law enforcement people listening, can you explain why you didn't have your sidearm?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was locked in the locker because you can't take a gun into the jail. So you have to put it in the locker and you have a little key. And the key was in my pocket and I got a hot call and didn't even think about it.
Just go flying out of the jail, jump in your car, and take off.
Take off.
Totally right past that
Yep.
lockbox.
Yeah, for our non-LE listeners, because I have some friends that know nothing about law enforcement.
Oh, well, and
They're learning the highlights now.
you know nothing about nothing, right?
That's true.
But we did learn not to poke a kangaroo with a stick.
Mm-hmm.
That officers in Australia don't ride around in pouches on kangaroos.
That everyone has a kitchen spider, a
Yes.
toilet frog, and a bedroom snake.
Bedroom snake.
A
Yes.
bedroom snake.
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like we've learned a lot today. Remember, guys, check out our web address, offbeatcopshow.com. Again, that's offbeatcopshow.com. Subscribe to the email. If you are a first responder, you have a funny story you would like to share on the show, send us an email at offbeatcopshow@gmail.com, offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Guys, stay safe and watch each other 6.